Hi, my name is Ernie, and I'm a project architect here at SSA Architecture. We often have clients ask us about the type of drafting software that we use, and we use an uncommon software package. The most common software package is Autodesk Revit. What we use is Chief Architect Premier. And like Revit, Chief Architect can put together a set of construction documents in 2 dimensions, essentially lines on a piece of paper. It can also model a building in 3 dimensions, so we can look at our building on the site and can rotate it, look at it upside down, or in whatever view we want to on the fly. Chief Architect can also do renderings or a single shot of an interior or an exterior. So if a client wants to see what his office will look like, we can do a photorealistic rendering of that. Chief Architect is also capable of doing what's known as walkthrough. So if you imagine parking your car in your parking spot, walking into the office from the outside, go get a cup of coffee, go up to your office. Chief Architect can replicate that walking process, so it gives the client an appreciation of the space. Like many software packages, it does have its pros and cons. One of the big pros for Chief Architect is its ease of use. Revit is a software package I've used for many years, but it's something that you can start using it out of the box, but it's difficult to use. Chief Architect, on the other hand, is something that you could just start drawing out of the box, and you can easily create a model with very little knowledge of how to use a 3D software, and that's really a powerful thing. So your learning curve is a lot lower. You don't need a high-powered computer to use Chief Architect. Basically, any computer pulled out of the box and set up can run Chief Architect, so you don't need a dedicated rendering station or anything like that to run Chief Architect's software. When it does dual rendering, it mainly renders off the CPU and not off the graphics card like a lot of rendering engines use, so you don't need a high-powered third-party graphics card. Again, out of the box, it's good to go. The Chief Architect has a lower price point than Revit, and also has a lower annual renewal cost than Revit if you choose to renew it. Some people just buy version whatever and they stick with that version for however long they want to use that software. Like a lot of like Revit, it can also work well with third-party rendering engines such as 3D Max, Lumion, the Unreal Engine 4. One of the big things with Chief Architect is its excellent tech support. All of it's in-house, so everybody there knows how to use Chief Architect. If your drafting database for some reason becomes corrupt, you can upload it to their site. One of their tech guys will fix your database, email it back to you, or email the link so you can download it back to you. So it is very nice. If you have a question, you can email the question, call them up, do whatever. Tech support isn't free. You do have to pay for the service, but it works quite well. Some of the problems that Chief Architect has is it does have a limited library. It currently only has about 100,000 different components, which seems like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not. So if we have a client looking for an off-brand chair that they want to put in their space so we can render it, it may not have that off-brand chair or a special sink or that desk or bed or whatever the component is. The renderings aren't as photorealistic as something is done in Revit. Revit uses the same rendering engine as 3D Max because they're owned by the same company. So there's a lot of synergy between 3D Max and Revit. Chief's engine lacks a lot of flexibility in its settings, so you can change a few things, but you can't change a lot. Sometimes we do have to dump it into Photoshop and do a little photoshopping to get the rendering to where we want it to be. Fly-throughs for Chief are not considered realistic. They are kind of cartoonish. So if we have a client, which we never have, but occasionally some firms do have that client that wants a photorealistic walkthrough, then that has to be shopped out to a third-party rendering engine, such as 3D Max or Lumion, or even the Unreal Engine 4, which is a better walkthrough software package. In a nutshell, Chief Architect is perfect for the size of our office and for the type of projects that we do on our office. There are other software packages out there. Some software packages are geared for smaller offices, but Chief Architect is the software that we use for our office, and it is for its cost and for what we use it for. It's probably the best software package that we have, that money can buy for our office. Have a good day. Thank you.